Hey everyone, it's Ryan Cusick with iHorror.com, and you're watching The Interview. Today I'll be speaking with the beautiful and talented Devanny Pinn on her latest film, The Flood. And yes, there's some big-ass alligators in this movie. We're also going to discuss her directorial debut on her upcoming film, The Black Mass, which will be making its festival run here very shortly. Thank you so much for joining me today. How did you get into the industry?
So I actually grew up in musical theater, and I was going to college for that on an opera scholarship. And I grew up kind of sheltered, so I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of horror movies, much at all, actually. And so when I got to college, I kind of went crazy. I started binging all of them, and I moved out from Jersey to the West Coast, trying to connect with new musical theater groups. And I didn't find any, but what I did find was an independent film audition. And I'm like, the hell is it? Can I curse on here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're
okay,
good.
Great, because otherwise that eliminates like half my speech. So I'm like, what the fuck is an independent film audition? And so I went just out of curiosity. My friend was going to audition for it. I went and they were like, you want to read? And I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
I did a monologue for my favorite movie at the time, which was Cruel Intentions. Shout out to Sarah Michelle Gellar. Woo!
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, it was like exactly the right piece at the right time, and I booked the lead in it. It was a horror movie, and it was a really incredible experience. We filmed on location in the Arizona mountains for a month, and I got a crash course in filmmaking, and I was hooked, like absolutely hooked. So it came out and did well overseas, which I didn't know what that meant, but Lloyd Kaufman actually found me from it, as well as a few other filmmakers, and they invited me to come and do their movies. And then he toured me around as a Tromet and introduced me to a ton of people in the industry. And from there, it's kind of turned from one to the next. So Lloyd Kaufman kind of took me around as a Tromet and introduced me to a bunch of people to the convention circuit. And one after another, filmmakers started asking, hey, I saw your movie, will you come and do mine? And it ended up being that I was like leaving class in college every week to go film. And so one day I just didn't come back, and I have been shooting ever since. And we're going on, 15 years or so now of that. So it's just been nonstop. And I tried a little bit of everything else. But ultimately, it came right back to the genre because, as we obviously know, it's the most fucking fun. The people are the best. Everybody's here because they love it, and so I'm obsessed. I get to do what I love.
And you do a little bit of everything: acting, producing, writing, and now finally directing.
Yes. I started just out of, appropriately morbid curiosity. Just wanted to know what everyone did. I was so annoying on set in my first few movies. I would like wander up to crew members and be like, what do you do? And they'd be like, don't you have to go to a scene? They'd hang a light. And I'm like, what kind of light is that? And so I was just annoying everybody, but I just loved the art of filmmaking so much. And so right off the bat, unbeknownst to me, I started putting people together, started collaborating on ideas and concepts for different movies. And so I really just kind of had a filmmaker's heart from day one. And so I started learning more and more about what everyone else did in the process. And it made me a stronger performer. To know, what lenses the cameraman's using. I know where my framing is. The lighting is, I know where my good lighting is for the shot. The sound, I know not to perform and bang my chest, it ruins the take. So all of it made me a stronger performer. And then I wanted to start building the worlds that I was acting in instead of just living in them. And then I found a whole new love for that. So I had done every single job on a movie from beginning to end, except for directing. And so now with Black Mass, I've crossed that one off the bucket list as well.
And besides directing, we'll set that part aside. What have you enjoyed the most out of everything you've done in a film? Is there anything in particular?
So aside from acting, probably producing is what I enjoy the most. I'm a little bit of a control freak. So with producing, I get to like kind of have my hands on, at first it was quality control, and then it became just story building. I love being able to have a little bit of say, a little bit of my stamp on every part of the process, and producing really allows you to do that.
And with The Flood, I know you just talked about your performance. And in The Flood, you had to act with CGI alligators.
Yes.
So that had to have been a challenge. I mean, with the, the reference with like, what did you use for, like, as far as reference for the alligator, the eye line? I mean, there's so many different things.
I was, yeah, really nervous about it, honestly. So I was excited because, like, as a horror fan, creature features are a favorite of my subgenres. Like, I love it. And I feel like we don't get a lot of gator movies. And so when they said they were going to do this, I was like, oh, I got to get in there. I want it. And so I'm really grateful to Damon and Amy over at Hillen Entertainment for having me out on it. And I told them the one thing I needed. I was like, I've got to die. Spoilers. So so I was like, I want to die by gator because it's so fucking cool. And it was challenging because they weren't sure if they were going to use a real one or a CGI one at first. Ultimately, for safety reasons, they did go with because we shot in Thailand where they had access to real alligators. So so I kind of wanted to wrestle a real gator, but I think the insurance company preferred that it was CGI. So we went with that. But I was up for the challenge because it's one thing to perform, opposite something that's real. It's another thing to try to give an authentic performance with just one side of it. So they did give me the eye line. They gave me kind of the motion that I was going to take. And they honestly really just kind of let me do my thing. I'm pretty good in death sequences. It's kind of my specialty. Like when someone's gonna die, they generally call me to go do it. So they're like, okay, just do your full out thing, and then we're gonna have the gator go with you. And so so I had fortunately I know the director pretty well, Brandon Slago. We worked together a lot, and so I kind of talked to him on the side. I was like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And I was like, we really, really, really got to do the alligator death roll. It's like, it's the top of the movie. Like, I really want to do that. So he was like, okay, because he knows how I am at this point. So he was like, okay. So we talked it out. And actually what happened was during the lunch break, I like grabbed the stunt team and they were expecting me to be kind of a princess, and they had like a stunt double ready, and they were gonna do, and I was like, no. So literally on this lunch break, this incredible Thai team, they did everything. They did like the Meg 2 and everything. Like they're really, really good. They taught me how to do wire rigging on the lunch break, so that way when we came back, the rest of the crew was surprised, and they saw I had learned how to do this rotating flip across the room on the wire rigs. And so we got back, everyone was like, oh shit. So then everyone got really excited, and we were like just going to town, really trying new things while we were filming. And so I got to do my own stunts on this, which I really love to do when they let me. And it was my first time doing wire rigs for stunts. So that was a lot of fun. And so they basically just tried several things. They said, hey, okay, so they had like a stunt guy play the alligator and say, okay, this is going to happen here, react this way. And so it was really challenging again to do a very intensive scene solo. But then it's like the epitome of what gets, you can hear me, I'm like getting excited thinking about it. The epitome of what I love. And like as a horror fan too, knowing what they were going to do with it, I was like, yes, just so cool. And I hope that people have as much fun watching it as I did making it, for sure.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, that was the opener, was your scene.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I mean, you got killed really quick, but
yes. And so I wasn't supposed to be in it originally. It was the opening scene was written differently and a little bit more modestly, but I think they knew how much fun that it could be, and so so the whole team really got together, rewrote something real quick, and allowed me to be the opening girl, which was so fun. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's really cool.
I'm definitely glad that they did it that way, because I don't think it would have had the same, you start out, like the movie started out with a bang. And so it grabbed your attention and then it carried you throughout. So, I mean, it could have, if they didn't have you in it may not have been as good.
See, you heard it here first.
See, I know.
Endorsement. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Again, there's always some kind of controversy. This is a whole separate topic. I know it's a quick thing, but there's sometimes controversy about having genre actors in pictures. And I always, a little biased, obviously, but I always advocate for it because we love what we do. And we kind of get what fans want because we are fans ourselves. And so a lot of times if you trust the process of it, you get a really, really, really great a great piece, a great reaction, a great death, great kill. And so the moral of that is just give fans what they want and have fun doing it.
And it's good having sometimes fans make these movies for fans who know exactly what they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I was, in this movie going into it, and I was watching it, it really had, it's like a broken record. It really had an Assault on Precinct 13 feel.
Yes.
Entire movie, which love that.
It was intentional, so they'll be really glad that came across.
When I talked to Damon a couple days ago, I told him, like, yeah, it was great. And I'm sure now you want to do more creature features, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's a favorite subgenre of mine, and I've only got to do a few of them, so I'm always seeking them out. Believe it or not, I keep trying to do a shark movie, and of all things, I haven't been able to do a shark movie yet. I got cast in 2 over the years that unfortunately didn't go to picture, and so I'm actively seeking that out. But anytime there's a creature, I think it's like really an underserved subgenre, and one of the most fun ones. So I definitely seek them out. I'm definitely looking to do more. And if anyone who greenlights is watching this, please.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yes. Yes.
No, I mean, and I think you're definitely onto something with that, because when Nick, so horrible with names. Nicky Whelan.
Nicky Whelan.
Yes, I talked to her. She did her shark movie prior to this one.
Yes.
And I looked and I said, we talked about it. I said, you're gonna be doing The Flood. And I saw it was an alligator film. I'm like, this thing looks fucking cool. Like, like you said, we don't get a lot of alligator stuff. So
they presented the slate of films that they were doing. And after I worked with this team on Battle for Saipan quickly, and which is a World War II picture, a very, very completely different tone than this. And so when I saw that this was on the table, I immediately was like, oh my God, I gotta get on that one. And I talked to Brandon, and I was like, if they offer me this one, you have to take it. And he was like, okay, because he's trying to do more action movies. But I was like, this is action. It's action too. It just has,
Yeah, it's both.
It's so cool. So cool. It's both. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of room too for crossover genres of that sort. And this is like, I just thought it was so cool. And I'm really, really glad that it did get greenlit, and that they involved both me and him. And it was super cool. And Nicky, how cool is Nicky, by the way? Shout out Nicky Whelan.
Nicky and Casper.
Yes. Casper worked with a couple of times too, and his wife, Jennifer Wanger. They're just, the whole team on this is just like some of the most amazing people. There's a small group of people who are really, really talented, who are also like really just great, kind people, dedicated people, and we had a lot of them on this one. So it just was an incredible experience.
That's the horror genre for you, like you said, and everybody seems to be connected. It's funny.
Yes, we're all 1 degree away from each other.
Everybody's connected. And how long was your shoot? How long were you in Thailand for?
So we were there for several weeks, but my scene, we actually shot it out in a day. They
really?
were really efficient. Yes. Yeah. They moved very quickly there. The teams in Thailand are incredibly efficient. Very hardworking people, very talented people, and so there's lots of prep work that's done for it. But then when they go, it's a machine, well oiled.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I've never been outside the country before. Like, I'm really sheltered, so I'm like, so anytime I can talk to someone about their experiences outside the United States, in film, I always think it's fascinating to see how they operate versus.
I was so excited. So that was like one of the main reasons that I wanted to jump on with these teams, was the opportunity to film abroad. And Thailand is gorgeous, just beautiful, and it's basically like one of our dollars is 3 of theirs. So like everything goes way farther. Like your experience there. Yeah, you can bring like a couple $100 and have a really, really great couple of days. So that was great. The food is so good. And the people, the best part about Thailand is the people. They're all happy for no reason, about nothing. Just in general, their demeanor, like our demeanor here is kind of like, yeah. But in Thailand, literally, they call the land of smiles, and it so is. Everyone is just super friendly and happy and pleasant. Helpful, hardworking. It's just an entirely different vibe, but just wonderful. I highly encourage anybody who's curious about it to go check it out. And as you're seeing, tons of productions are going there now too, so it's very film friendly, and they like horror over there, so obviously they're cool.
That is awesome. And then I noticed your background. Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
There is the Black Mass. This is your directorial debut.
Yes, it is.
How did it come about? We'll start off.
I've wanted to tell this story for almost a decade now, and I've had a couple of different ideas for it over the years. I never really knew if I would be given the opportunity or not to make it happen. There has been a good amount of productions done on the subject matter, and so something that my company Jaguar Motion Pictures does is we really try to show material you think you know, or subject matter you think you've seen, and present it in a new way. And so this is exactly that in a nutshell. I wanted to do it forever, and then ultimately Cleopatra Entertainment, which is our production company and distributor, they worked with us on Frost during the pandemic. And for those of you who don't know, that's a survival thriller with a pretty brutal ending that's getting some momentum right now. And it was a little movie that we did together, but it did very well for them. And so they invited me to do another one. Brandon, who directed that, was occupied at the time, but they basically told me I could do any movie I wanted. I was like, oh my gosh, if I could do Black Mass. So I pitched it to them, and they were like, yeah, sure, do it. And I was like, really? And so then Brandon was unavailable, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do my dream product, but green light, I can't do it. And so I was like, what do I do? And I talked to a couple different directors, and I just didn't get a sense that anybody really understood what I was trying to do with the project.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and I called Cleopatra. I was like, how do you feel about me directing it? And they were like, yeah, sure, do it. I was like, oh, wow. Fuck, I actually have to direct this. So I was very nervous about it. It wasn't necessarily my calling to be a director, quite frankly, but I had spent so much time in the material, and I was so passionate about the story and the story subject matter that I felt confident that this particular film that I could efficiently direct. And so I put the whole thing together. It's my baby, kind of. I was very nervous to show it, but so far the reviews are positive, and we do have some festival play coming up, and so I'm very, very excited about it, for it being received as well as it is. It's hard to talk about without spoilers. It is a day in the life of an American serial killer. And this particular 24 hours is quite a ride. It is entirely based on a true story. A lot of what you see in the film, even the mundane dialogue moments in the film, are all corroborated by witness testimony. And so what you do in this film is literally step into the shoes of this person and live their 24-hour day. And for the first time ever cinematically, we are, through the eyes of a serial killer, focusing on his victims.
Well, and so a lot of point of view shots then?
Yes. A lot of point of view, a lot of over the shoulder. You actually do not see the face of our killer until the end of the movie.
Okay, and then at the end, at that point, will we know?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
It doesn't hold back from clues as to who you're following, but the intention of that is to take the focus away, and the media's attention, take the story of the serial killer and make it about the last moments and the impact that he had on the people around him. And so the piece is actually used as a discussion for victim advocacy and how we as society idolize serial killers. And my hope is that through this film that you will have a new perspective on that, that you learn new things about the case and the people involved in it that you were not aware of before. And that you see people whose lives were taken by serial killers not as just a quick moment in their story, but actually as real people with hopes and dreams and lives, friends, families, who abruptly all of that was taken from them from selfishness of these people.
Yeah, so many lives are affected by,
Yes.
I think we tend to forget that.
You do. It's very, very easy to do so. So this film, you
Yeah.
literally have to see what they see, and you have to look into the eyes and the faces of the people that are being harmed while they're being harmed. And so it's a very different experience, even though you may know the facts of the case. It's a very, very different viewing experience. So unlike most of what's out there. So again, I wasn't sure if people were going to take to it or not, but so far it's doing exactly what I hoped it would do. And so I encourage everyone to seek it out. It is going to start playing festivals as of next month, and do an entire run. And then it should be out to the public through Cleopatra Entertainment this winter.
Very good. And I mean, there's a lot of true crime junkies out there that I'm sure are
Yes.
really like this.
I am one as well. So hopefully, hopefully those who enjoy true crime will seek this out and then help spread the word too.
And then, horror fans too, you have a lot of alumni in there.
Yes.
So
it's kind of the who's who of horror. I try to, when doing casting, pick some of my favorites, again, as a fan, as well as I wanted to represent most of the major horror franchises.
Yeah.
So almost every single one is represented all in one movie. And so there's a lot of regulars, as you know, but then I tried to find some people who are part of these infamous franchises that are not usually sought out and sought after as well. But the girls, there's a couple of fresh faces in the mix as well. All of the girls, there's some of them. All of the girls in our movie are extreme lookalikes to the victims, the women that they are playing. And they all studied their individual people that they're portraying. The performances in this, even though we have a lot of the slashers, a lot of the fun franchises represented, all of the performances in this are incredible. I have an incredibly talented cast.
So a lot of research went into this, which is
extensive. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
That is awesome. And the poster looks great.
Yeah. So that is
right there. You got the 70s feel right there.
Yes. So we really wanted to embody that. And again, a horror chick. So I really wanted you to feel that in the imagery, feel that in the music. And so it is a very much an experience right off the bat going into 1978. And shout out to Andrew Kearns, who did the poster for us. He's a fan as well. So you really just have a lot of people who are great at what they do and love what they do, all coming together to make this project happen. And I think we got the best out of most people involved on this. And so it's very special to me, and I'm excited for people to see it.
We're excited too. And one thing I wanted to bring up, because I'm pretty sure I'm correct that you cut the trailer yourself.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Brandon Spiegel actually cut it for me. He wrote it and did the majority of the editing on this. And I want to give a shout out to him because I basically screamed over his shoulder for the past few months, meticulously making sure everything was the way I wanted it to be. And so bless him, he's very talented and very patient. But so it is my voice across the board in this, but executed through very talented people. And shout out to iHorror and Ryan for hosting the exclusive on the trailer for us. So if you've not seen it, please head over to iHorror and check it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was great. I mean, like I said, I can't believe this is only the first time we've been talking, all these years.
Well, it's okay. We're going to do it like regularly now, so it'll be fine.
No, most definitely.